Mapping the world digitally and creating a digital representation of reality continues to be a very significant challenge world over. Ecopia has a platform that's doing this, Jon. You're taking satellite imagery and putting a whole lot of intelligence behind it. How do you do that?
We're actually taking satellite imagery and training a computer how to understand that imagery like a human would. So you can think of it like training your baby daughter how to recognize a cat. You show her a bunch of different cats, and eventually she starts to recognize what a cat looks like when she sees one in the real world. So we're completing that process by using artificial intelligence to train a computer how to look at satellite imagery, understand what's in it, and then output a digital map.
What are the components of that map?
So for example, a map of buildings, roads, forests, and then that digital map would be used for a number of different decision-making processes. Things like government urban planning, insurance companies looking to understand the risk of insuring any given home, telecommunications companies using these maps to understand where to place 5G sensors, a lot of these enterprise decision-making applications.
And going forward, Jon, what additional information are you going to integrate into your maps?
I think there's a sort of limitless opportunity in terms of the level of detail that you can add to these maps. Right now, we're creating the sort of what we see as the foundation of these mapping layers. For example, we recently created the first complete map of every building in the United States. It's 169 million buildings across the entire continent. Looking further down the road, you can start to pin a lot of very interesting information to that map, like the address of that building, what business is in that building, and then looking at things like what's the slope of the roof, what's the type of construction, and that sort of information gets very interesting to a lot of different people.
And a lot of global not-for-profits are talking to you about using your technology in Africa, for example. There's all kinds of use cases there. One of the biggest is just the reality there aren't a lot of maps of Africa out there today that are digital representations of Africa. So once you get beyond that starting point, what are then the future use cases you see in Africa?
We're looking at providing these maps to give workers on the ground a better idea of how to distribute vaccines. So we're mapping every building and road. Previously, some of these people had no idea where the populations resided.
The AI that you've built today that's constructing maps with buildings and roads, where do you see that AI evolving to?
There's a lot of interesting applications of that, and really it's limitless. For example, we're doing a lot of work now with autonomous vehicles, of not only picking out things from satellite imagery, but also looking at what you can see from other data sources such as street view imagery, and understanding where the road markings are, the curbs, the stop signs, and giving a much more deeper level of understanding of the real world. And what this really ends up being is moving towards a digital twin. And that's really our goal as a company, is creating a virtual representation of reality and putting that in a computer for enterprise decision making.